What truly defines leadership? A title on a business card or the responsibility to help others succeed? In a world of rapid change, can organizations really thrive without first helping their people grow? And perhaps most importantly, if the future belongs to youth, how much are we really investing in preparing them to lead? Ladies and gentlemen, these are questions our guest today has not only asked, but answered through a remarkable career spanning more than 2 decades. Hi, I'm your host, Manu Nanda, President for India and Meta at Northscape. And I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you all to another episode of The Learning Curve. Our guest today is Karim Mansour, the Chief Human Resource Officer at JBS MENA, who, in his words, didn't set out to be an HR. In fact, he began as a law graduate, aspiring to be a judge, until an internship revealed a deeper calling, which was people. Over the past 26 years, Karim has transformed that calling into impact, shaping human capital for some of the largest food organizations in the region, from Americana Food to JBS, the global protein leader with more than 250,000 employees. At JBS MENA, Karim has built HR from the ground up, helping the company rise into the top 3 organizations in the region. Beyond organizations, he's a certified coach from Harvard, a certified coach from Marshall Goldsmith and Harrison, guiding C-suite leaders to turn ambition into achievement. And perhaps closest to his heart, and that's what I'm trying to get out from him during this conversation, Karim invests in youth transformation, mentoring the next generation in leadership, resilience, and also self-belief. Hi, Karim. Absolutely delighted to welcome you to another episode of The Learning Curve.
Hi, Manu. It's my pleasure, and thanks a lot for the amazing introduction. It's my pleasure to be with you in such a great podcast through Knowledgescape, which is a great organization.
Thank you so much. And Karim, just to warm up things, and this is what we do when we have our guests. There's just going to be a quick rapid fire of 4, 5 questions coming to you, just to know you a little better uh, before we get into the serious stuff of understanding your perspective in terms of your expertise and what you've been doing for the last 25 to 26 years.
Sure, I like the term of warm up. Let's warm up, yeah.
Sure, sure. So the first thing, Karim, to you is one thing that you always look for when hiring for leadership roles. What is one thing that really strikes you when you're hiring people for a leadership role?
Emotional intelligence.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so one thing I look for leadership or for hiring leadership is emotional intelligence. For sure, leaders have to achieve results, but the results come from people and come from human. But the interconnections between the leaders and the results in order to achieve the business organization is the emotional intelligence. You know how to adapt to the challenges, how to connect with the teams, how to connect with the human touch. This how the leader has to be inside the organization and how to lead his or her team.
Wow. Love the 2 words that you use, which is the human touch and interconnectedness. And then that's actually one of the things that I'll be diving deep into as we move along into the conversation. My second question, Karim, to you is purpose or performance? What comes first?
Without thinking, for sure, purpose. So without a clear purpose, performance lacks the motivation. So in order to build sustainable organization, you have to find the purpose or to bring the purpose first, because purpose bring motivation, alignment, long-term success. So purpose before performance.
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree with you that nothing works without purpose. My next question to you, based on your current role, in the MENA region, Kareem, what country you worked and that you have learned the most? So which country has taught you in terms of culture, in terms of people, in terms of some of the things that you mentioned on emotional intelligence that you absolutely loved working with?
Uh, if I will say one country, actually it's not one. It's like two or three. I worked in Egypt and I worked in all GCC countries. When it comes to UAE, United Arab Emirates, I have to say how they adapt the diversification. So everybody here in UAE can live his or her own life. But if you will ask me about one country, I will say Saudi Arabia, because I stayed there more than 10 years. And the balance between the traditions
Right.
and the rapid modernization.
Sure.
This is what I like a lot. They have a modern or a rapid modernization, but keeping the traditions and their belief as is. So back to your question, Saudi Arabia, which is they have the balance of new modernization and the rapid change with a lot of massive technology, with keeping the traditions and the values that they have since long time.
Super, super. Uh, and a habit that keeps you calm, focused, and amid all the disruptions and the chaos in the world. And I'm sure, with your role, there's a lot of work pressure. So, what is a habit that keeps you absolutely calm and focused?
I would say mindfulness and practicing sports. So you can consider me an athletic person. So practicing sports for me for a few minutes every day with consistent space, and also doing a few moments of meditation give me the well-being and health thinking, and how to keep calm, because the effect of sports and meditation affecting a lot of your stress management. And when it comes to the definition of stress management, how to keep calm when you're facing a stressed situation, and all of us facing a stress situation every day. So
Absolutely.
practicing meditation and mindfulness and sports in consistent space, this is helping me a lot.
Wow. Wow. I just love that. And maybe my last question of the rapid fire, Kareem. We all have idols. So, a leader you admire, uh, it could be anyone. It could be, someone from within your personal group or politics or, in your professional life, someone who you admire and why.
I like this question. So for me, Nelson Mandela. I will choose Nelson
Wow.
Mandela. Nelson Mandela, his ability to lead with empathy, his vision for unity, even when face a lot of challenges. Actually, Nelson Mandela is a role model and the real example of the transformative leadership.
Absolutely. I absolutely couldn't agree more. He's my idol as well. So great to get that answer from you, Kareem. So that was part of the rapid fire, and now we'll try and delve into a little more of a business conversation, and basically with your rich experience and the kind of background that you come with, Kareem. And I'm sure you've been asked multiple times on, from dreaming of becoming a judge to becoming a CHRO. How did that happen? But I'm going to go a little step further on that question and actually ask you, how did your background in law actually influence your approach to people and organization? So one is that you wanted to become a judge, but with that kind of a background and you moved into HR, how did that influence your approach to people and organization, which is absolutely very unique?
I like your question because a lot of people come to me and they told me you changed your career also as well, and you know your background of law and your working HR, but actually uh, both very well connected together. Because if I will answer your question, my legal background taught me the importance of fairness. And when it comes to human resources, for me, fairness is number one. Taught me how to be structured, how to be organized, how to deep dive into every single details. Okay, how how you shape your ability to analyze a lot of difficult situations, also how to mediate conflicts, which is happening every day. How to manage the application of the policies and the procedures and the ethics into the workplace. Okay, ethics is everything in the workplace. So all my legal backgrounds and studies during the universities taught me a lot and which is enhance my capabilities in human resources and to be invaluable HR leader.
Thank you for that. And I'll go on a step, maybe go back to something that you mentioned as part of the rapid fire, Kareem, and where you spoke of emotional intelligence, you spoke of mindfulness, and that is something that we are seeing across in the industry, and more so, with that rapid change and all the stress that people undergo. Keeping in view that leadership role is, a high tension. Uh, profile for people. My question is: many leaders today struggle with, balancing between business performance and people well-being. Uh, how do you think? What would you advise them to navigate through this tension? And why I say that is because there's a lot of focus on mental health, and a lot of organizations are looking at mental health more as a strategic tool uh, rather than it just being something ethical. And we know the cost of that. Some of the reports that we were going through, the cost of burnout because of mental health is billions and billions of dollars, which actually impact productivity. So, any thoughts about Kareem in terms of how leaders can navigate through stress and at the same time balance business performance?
This was part of my thesis when I did my doctorate degree. So I have to say that business performance and the individual performance with well-being is interconnected. By fostering culture of well-being and people feels valued inside the organization, for sure the performance will come very rapid and very quick, and it will be very easy. But without well-being and without feeling that you're valued inside the organization, there will be no engagement. There will be lack of productivity. So aligning human well-being with the organizational goals is very important. I think if this answering your questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you would, based on your entire ecosystem and the organizations that you interact with in your region, do you see mental well-being as a priority now in terms of HR
Yes,
practices?
now
That
one
has
of
to
the
be on
top
the top,
trends.
and it cannot be a
Yes,
secondary. Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Keeping well. keeping well-being and keep the mental health of your leaders and your employees one of the top trends in human resources now.
Right.
And during our connections with the medical organizations also as well, it's a top
Right.
priority to put on the table of the benefits as mental health benefits for our employees. So it's very important for sure, and it's a part you cannot ignore it.
Perfect. Perfect. Sure. The other thing that was always there, but is now being spoken of in a big way, is leadership with empathy, or how do you lead with empathy as a performance tool? And why I say that, Kareem, is because it is known, again, based on our conversations with leaders across different sectors, industries. With empathetic leaders build loyalty. Empathetic leaders reduce conflict. Empathetic leaders inspire people, and that is the key ingredient for actually high performance in any organization. And why I'm sharing this with you is based on the experience that you carry, uh, you know, in your career. Can you share some examples with our listeners in terms of where you have, been there for others, or made any big impact, where empathy has come out in a big way, or it has impacted the people on the other side? Any examples, any cases you could share with us?
If you, I will tell you. So being there for others, for me, on the top priority, as an example, being there for young people or young professionals, because all of us, me and you, were young, and we're interns, and we're in our early career. Okay, so when you have when you have sponsorship and you have real mentor and the real coach can sponsor you inside the organization and can be a mentor for your life, for your personal life and for your professional life as well, it's very important. You will create opportunity for those young people. It's not only about thrive, but it's also became mentors for others. It's very important. This for me, effect of empowerment inside the organization. So, as an example, I will choose being as a mentor for struggling young professionals.
Wow, interesting. Yes, sure. And that is something, I think, I was, just going through your profile, which comes out very strongly.
Yeah.
Where you have actually spoken very often about and said that it all comes back to youth.
Yep.
And so, where does this passion come, Karim? Why does youth development matter so deeply to you?
Youth for me are very important because youth, are tomorrow. Youth is the future of any organization. Youth is the second and third line. Without youth, you cannot have sustainability inside the organization. If you want sustainable organization, focus on youth.
Absolutely.
Yes, profitable organization very important in order to survive, but you have to build sustainable organization. And without youth, you cannot build sustainable organization. If you
Absolutely.
want your organization to be for last, you have to focus on youth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I'll, dive a little deeper into, the span of work that you've done with JBS MENA, where you've actually built human capital from the ground up. And for the people who are listening, I'm sure there are budding HR professionals, senior HR folks clued in. What strategies or principles actually guided you, in this entire endeavor for building everything from scratch and creating such a fantastic, business vertical?
For me, we are focusing on building the culture. The leaders are who are building the culture inside the organization. I'm always telling my team, you have to build the culture of the organization. At JBS, We have our core values, which is
Right.
our Bible. I will give you some. The value of ownership, determination, simplicity, sincerity, humility, discipline. So, how to be as availability. All of those values are building the culture from the ground, as you mentioned, and fostering a positive attitude towards the organization, building a trust, fostering collaboration. All of those strategy aligning with, for sure, for business strategy and for any HR strategy.
Sure. And I like something that you mentioned because I think everything starts with the kind of vision that you have for human capital. And something that you mentioned very clearly is on values, because end of the day, values is the DNA for any culture of the organization. Would you also agree that to some extent, in terms of building human capital, things like uh, rewarding growth and not just results, or hiring for potential and not just for credentials, is also a key aspect?
Both together, results are very important, but
Right.
also developing people is very important, because without people you cannot reach to the desired goals.
Right.
So both together, one of the key elements of any HR leader has to focus on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for your work span again, Kareem, going back to the multiple regions where JBS is, and the food industry that you worked with, some of the big names like Americana and some of the other big names that you worked with. Uh, how is the consumer sector or the industry shaping up, uh, in the Gulf region right now? And why I ask that is because the Gulf region is primarily known for oil and gas. And now we see that shift happening to the other sectors. That means there is a clear strategy for most of the GCC countries to move away from an oil-based economy to, maybe a digital-based economy, or a focus on some of the other sectors. So do you see that shift also happening in the consumer industry? Any insights you could share, based on your experience in this sector?
Yes, actually, the external factors that affect the economical and all the region here are changing a lot. So, from focusing on the oil and gas, as you mentioned, to different industry like FMCG, for sure, building strategies, strategic and decisions for food industry and the beverage as well. Also, the entertainment, focusing on the tourism, and a lot of strategic direction changed a lot. It's not only depends on the oil and gas sector, but now different measures or industries uh, building the economy of any country. And working across MENA region through JBS now actually taught me the importance of culture sensitivity and the importance of adaptability. And JBS taught me that success comes from respecting regional differences among people, and how to foster shared vision with the team and within the organization, especially if you have diversity.
So my next question, Kareem, is something that everybody is talking about, and it is, every conference you go to, every conclave you go to, the topic on the table is AI. In Allscape, we speak about leading in the age of AI, or leading in the age of Gen AI, to be very specific. You need to have the right balance between tech, talent, and trust. So wanted to understand your perspective on, these conversations about AI, and, the adoption levels, the readiness of the people. what is your take on that in terms of what you're hearing and what's happening, say, within JBS right now?
I will start with a quote. I like it a lot. With the quote that AI will not replace human, but the people who are using the AI will replace the people who are not using the AI. So if you're not be adaptive with the technology and the rapid change of learning the AI, a lot of people will come to replace your position. So it's not about that the AI will replace people. No, it's about the people who are very professional to use the AI and the technology will replace the people who are not. Same like before, since 25 years, when if anyone cannot use a computer or cannot be professional on the Excel sheets, you will not hire him. So now it's the same as a AI. So AI and hybrid models enable continuity of the business. And now the demand of learning on the AI is very massive. The courses through all e-learning platforms focusing on the AI, which empowering the organizations and the individual in order to thrive and to make the rapid changes that we are facing now.
Absolutely. And talking about the rapid change, which all of us are familiar with, whether it's, what we spoke of, AI or hybrid models, or, also a shift in various generations working together. What excites you about the future of learning in terms of what was there maybe 2 years back or 3 years back, and now the expectations of the learner versus the kind of content that is available, at the click of a button? What is exciting you about the future of learning, and what would you have? Maybe I'll park the other part to the second part of the question, but maybe if you could just let me know what's exciting you about the future of learning.
The future of learning, especially the AI, excites me, because it's becoming more personalized and becoming more technology driven, which is one of my areas of interest. AI and, as I told you, AI and hybrid models enable continuous demand learning is massive now, empowering of individuals to adapt and thrive to the rapid change excites me a lot. And now you're not just watching; you have to interfere as a HR leader and as a leaders in the organization in those rapid changes.
Sure. And the second part of the question, what I briefly mentioned, Karim, uh, how would you advise, since you work with the youth, and as you mentioned very often that it all comes back to youth, what's your advice to the youth to be future ready? What do they need to do? Can you give me just maybe one, two, or three bulleted points so that, the listeners or the viewers of this can actually take it down from you?
My advice for the youth, always I'm telling them, begin with the end in mind. If you don't have your future plan, you will be lost. So always begin with the end in mind. Always put career path for yourself before your company putting for you. So you have to know the end destination in order to fight from now that I will reach it. You have to have a dream. My
Yes.
advice to the youth, you have to have a dream. One day, I had a dream to become one of the top or number one HR among HR or CHROs. And I started as an internship. Because that was my dream, I did it. And I became one of the top HR leaders across MENA region now. So always have a dream and begin with the end in mind in order to shape your future.
Brilliant, brilliant, Kareem. And, words of wisdom coming from Kareem and all the people who are clued in and listening. Have a dream, have a vision, and you'll be there. Uh, I've absolutely enjoyed this conversation with you, Karim, and it's been a delight. I have one last question. When all the learning that is happening, what is one thing you do to keep yourself updated in terms of your learning quotient? How do you manage to find time for yourself that I need to park time and understand what's moving, what are the trends in the market, what's happening on AI, what's happening on HR, and maybe even if legal, which I assume is still a passion with you, how do you find time to get all the learning and to upskill yourself?
You know, the book of 5 a.m. Club. So I'm one of the 5 a.m. club. So always I'm sleeping max 11 p.m. and waking up by 5 a.m.
Wow.
So before going to work, if you work from 8 to 5 or from 9 to 6, you have still 3 hours, more than 3 hours to do whatever you want, to read whatever you want, to practice sports even for 15 to 30 minutes, to read whatever you want, to practice your religion, to practice your meditation, so to take breakfast with your lovely family. I'm taking, in those 3 hours, you can find a lot to do. And then coming back from work, you will stay with your family, or even if you take your dinner or something, and then until 11, so you have like 6 hours of sleeping. And when you come over 45, so the sleeping hours decrease. So from 8 hours to 6 hours, this is the nature of the age. So for me, uh, follow the 5 a.m. Principles, will find a lot of time to do whatever you want.
Brilliant, brilliant. And not to forget that Kareem is a father of three grown-up girls, and that itself is a full-time job by itself. And Kareem, the way you have shared your personal, your professional learnings with us, it's absolutely been a delight to have you on this podcast. I just want to thank you for this lovely chat. uh,
Thank you
you
so
know,
much.
for all the insights, experiences that you've shared in the discussion. And I'm absolutely sure that the viewers and the listeners will find great value from learning that has come out. I want to thank
It's
all
my
our viewers
pleasure.
and listeners who have tuned into the learning curve. And this is, where we bring in thought leaders, we bring in business heads, we bring in celebrities. We shall be back in the next episode with another great personality and insights on making organizations, leaders, and the workforce ready for the future. Until next time, take care and goodbye.